Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mallory and I'm really glad that you joined me for my 31-week pregnancy update. All right, well, we really are getting into the final weeks, kind of. We are now in single digits before baby's due date. 9 weeks until baby is due to be here. Of course, as a first-time mom, statistically, I'm more likely to go past my due date than for him to come early or to be even right on time. But we're just going with 9 weeks until his due date. So exciting. I can't believe we're in single digits with that countdown now. But 31 weeks into this pregnancy journey, and let's just jump right into the update. Okay, so statistics. I have none for this week because again, I still haven't found my tape measure to measure my belly and I don't have a scale. But I will say, well actually I'll save that for my symptoms. I'm pretty sure I am growing though. All right, let's do baby development. So according to babysizer.com, which I've mentioned that in the past few videos about how fun of a website it is. According to babysizer.com, baby is the size of an American football. So not a soccer ball. If you're European, I know it's Europeans call soccer football, which does make more sense anyway, but baby is the size of a football, like an American football. And that's kind of crazy that I have something that size in my belly. And he weighs about 3.3 pounds, which is just crazy. And I can't remember where I read or what exactly I read, but now the baby should be gaining a certain amount of weight like every week on up until birth. So it's kind of crazy that he's probably still going to double in size between now and giving birth. I just feel so huge already. So let's jump into the next section, which is symptoms. So my biggest symptom has been my belly feeling so heavy. That almost rhymes. But yes, my belly just feels so heavy, especially at the end of the day. And I've been also feeling more pressure, like lower in my pelvis, like very low in my pelvis. I'm hoping that means that he's head down, like maybe his head is like pressing down there on nerves and bladder and all of that. It was slightly concerning to me, but then I was like, no, I feel better in the morning when I get up. Like my belly just feels significantly lighter after it's been resting on either side for 8 to 10 hours. Usually like 9 to 10 hours these days. I'm still getting like 9 to 10 hours of sleep since we got to California. And also I feel my belly feels more tired after I go for a walk. So here in California where we're at, it's very hilly. And so, you know, in the mornings I'll take Zoe out for a walk and I'll walk up a hill, and then we are on the second floor of our hotel. And so I have to walk upstairs, and especially after exerting myself like that, if you watch my Instagram stories, you'll see that I'm out of breath when I do that, because I always do an Instagram story when I walk Zoe in the mornings. And it's just that extra weight. It's just pulling. I really should get one of those belly support bands. When we go to Texas, I might see if I can borrow my sister-in-law's because she had one. She just had her first child back in March, and she had one, and I guess it was really helpful. So I know they're a little pricey, so it'd be nice to like borrow it instead of just buying it for the next 9 weeks. But anyway, so you put that on and it supports the lower part of your belly for instances like this where your belly is just so heavy and tired. I'm sleeping. I know that sleep issues around this time in pregnancy are a big problem for a lot of pregnant women, but surprisingly it's not for me, except for like getting up to go to the bathroom a lot. But otherwise sleep is just really great. I'm rarely waking up on my back anymore. I think my body just knows that it's too heavy to be sleeping on my back. So naturally I am just staying on my left or my right side with the wonderful Boppy side sleeper pillow, which I have shown multiple times on here. And that's really good. And I always wake up feeling rested. So that's helpful. Anyway, I'm just so thankful that I'm not having sleep problems yet. I mean, they could crop up. Also, not having any unusual back issues. I do have scoliosis. At this point, it's about a 25-degree curvature because I did have it corrected. I was at 78 degrees curvature at the worst part. Like, it literally looked very much like an S shape in my back, my spine did. And I had a posterior spinal fusion to fuse my spine, basically my whole back, T2 to L2, if you know what that means. Basically my whole back except for my lower, like, lumbar area. And then I had rods and screws put in to reinforce that. So my theory is that the reason I'm not having more back problems, other than I will say that sometimes my left hip or my right hip goes out and I'm almost limping. So other than that, but I don't consider that like a back problem. I consider that more of like a hip issue. But actually the last few days that hasn't really been bothering me. So I guess it corrected itself. And the chiropractor helps as well. So I think that having a fused spine and having those rods in my back actually makes my back stronger to counteract the weight in my belly, because that's a lot of times that's the culprit with pregnant women when you have back issues, is because your stomach is jutting out and you have all this weight that's making you off balance and it's pulling your spine forward too much. But mine, until a certain point, it can't do that. It has to remain straight. It cannot bend in any way, shape, or form. So that's my theory. That's my theory, is that my spine is just super strong because of the hardware in the fusion, and that's preventing me from having bad back issues. Anyway, I'm just very, very thankful that I have gotten to this point without additional back issues. I actually had more back pain like in my first trimester, which is really weird because you're not even like sticking out at that point. I don't know. I also felt a little moody a couple days this week. I guess that's normal with hormones fluctuating. All right, so that's enough for symptoms. Cravings and aversions. I have really been enjoying cold, fresh fruit. And in fact, this morning, well, I am filming this. I'm in my 32nd week now. I'm filming this a couple days late. But this morning, I suddenly had a craving for apple juice. Earlier this week, I ate like 10 to 15, it wasn't 15, at least 10 strawberries just in one sitting. Actually, in one standing. I was standing at the counter and just like eating strawberries from the carton. One thing, if I think about, kind of sounds gross, which is really weird because I love this dish, but Vietnamese pho soup, like beef pho, the sound of that just kind of grosses me out. So I guess that's kind of an aversion. Finally, something new. So in my last video, I mentioned going to the hospital to get some blood work done. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So at my first prenatal appointment with my doctor here in Cali, he wanted me to get some blood work done because there were some things that the German doctor did not do. So I went to the hospital where I'm going to give birth at. They have a lab there, and I registered at the hospital. The lady helping us was super friendly. Like she was a military brat. Like her dad was in the military, her brother's in the military. And so we just had a nice time talking, and then the lab people were really nice. And then the atrium, you guys, this hospital is posh. There's a koi pond, this huge koi pond with koi fish in it, in the atrium, like really beautiful atrium lighting. There's like a little cafe and bakery in the lobby. It's very clean, very airy, like just very welcoming. And like I said, posh. So tomorrow, actually, this is a Friday I'm filming this. So tomorrow on Saturday, we will be doing a tour of the Family Birth Center, which is what they call their labor and delivery unit. And so next week, in next week's video, I will talk about that because we'll get to see more of the hospital and where I will actually be giving birth. So that's super exciting. Also, another thing new is that we booked our plane tickets to Texas and Wisconsin for our baby showers. We're having a baby shower in Texas and Wisconsin with my family and Mark's family, respectively. And we're gonna spend Thanksgiving in Wisconsin with Mark's family. So we bought those tickets. It's kind of a little nutty that we are traveling so late in pregnancy, but we will be home before, I think right before I turn 35 weeks. It'll definitely be well before I turn 36. So then we will be grounded. We will not be going anywhere that is more than like a day's drive away from my hospital or more than a few hours, let's say. Anyway, but traveling, my doctor said that typically traveling past 32 weeks is not like recommended because statistically that's when women tend to go into like preterm labor, but I'm not at any risk for preterm labor at this point, and there's no harm to the baby to like fly on airplanes and things like that. I did check airline policies and I'm free to travel. There's no restrictions on me at this point. That's all I have. My battery has been blinking for like the past 5 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up and say goodbye for this week. But also stay tuned. I will have a second trimester must-have item video coming out for you guys really soon after this video, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, take care. I will see you next time. Bye.